Welcome to Empowering the Future, AI integration in education for teachers and students. Today we're going to talk about AI in education, where it's going, and how we can prepare not only ourselves, but our students. Together, we are going to explore practical ways to integrate AI into teaching and learning, as well as preparing yourself and your students for an AI-driven future. When we bring AI into the classroom, we're looking at two main ways we can use it. First, there's using AI tools to help us teach better. These tools can do things like grade homework for us, make lessons more interesting, and even give students a more tailored learning experience. As a teacher, I like utilizing ChatGPT as one of my to-go-to AIs that I use in the classroom. And one of the reasons is because it not only generates lesson plans, but also personalizes them accordingly to the unique needs of each of my students. So ChatGPT can conceptualize detailed lesson plans that incorporate interactive activities, critical thinking exercises, and multimedia resources, all aligned with the education standards. For instance, if I'm an English teacher looking to enhance students' understanding of Shakespeare, I can generate and design lesson plans that include character analysis activities, video resources for visual learners, and creative writing prompts that encourage students to explore themes in a contemporary context. So I can build all of these things through one website, right? But right now, we need to look at the second phase, and that is teaching students about artificial intelligence itself. This is really important too, even though it might be tough because schools might not have enough funding for new programs, or maybe there isn't a computer science class. We can still find creative ways to help students learn what artificial intelligence is and how it works. Websites like code.org are great because they have activities and lessons that make AI easy to understand. So whether your school has the funding or not, if you have the right initiative to go onto the website and learn some of the different activities, you can also bring this kind of learning into your classroom. So today, that's one of our tasks. We're going to look at code.org, and I'm going to take you around to show you some of the artificial intelligence lessons that are available for you to utilize and implement into your classroom. The following are three different softwares that you can utilize to create avatars to enhance your teaching. In addition to that, you can have students create avatars to present different projects. So here's a look at those three different softwares and samples of what could be created with them. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about the structure of an atom. Our essential question will be, what is an atom made out of? How is each element defined? And what are protons and neutrons located in an atom?
Enhancing teaching and learning. Personalized learning avatars can be programmed to adapt to different learning styles and levels, offering personalized assistance to students. They can provide one-on-one tutoring or support, especially in larger classes where individual attention is challenging. Interactive lessons avatars can make lessons more interactive and engaging. For instance, an avatar could simulate historical figures or characters from a book, bringing lessons to life and fostering a deeper understanding of the subject matter. Assistive technology. For students with disabilities, avatars can be a great aid. They can offer sign language for the hearing impaired or read aloud text for the visually impaired.
Gamification in the classroom boosts engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes. It captivates students by incorporating game elements like points, levels, and rewards. Personalized learning, collaboration, mastery, and immediate feedback are facilitated. Gamification improves retention, develops 21st-century skills, promotes resilience, and makes learning enjoyable.
My lifelong love affair with computer science began in the most unassuming of places, a nondescript middle school classroom, circa 1986. The computers were clunky behemoths by today's standards, but to my 7th grade self, They were portals to a world of limitless possibilities. My introduction to coding was delightfully simple, guiding a small turtle icon across the screen. Initially, the turtle traced straight lines under the command of the basic code I inputted. As my proficiency grew, I coaxed the turtle into drawing squares. The thrill of seeing the turtle respond to my keystrokes, following the digital breadcrumbs I'd laid out in code, was a revelation. It was my first encounter with the beautiful dance between instruction and action, between code and creation.
Welcome to the Student News Project template. Create video news reports on classroom assignments and projects. This is your video starting point. Add your school or class logo to enhance the uniqueness of your student news channel. Share key details, including the name of the project, the objectives of the project, and when the project was assigned. The high sugar content in drinks poses significant health and academic challenges for students. Addressing this issue requires a combined effort from educational institutions, parents, and policymakers to promote healthier dietary habits among the student population. Japan has been taking several measures to address the issue of high sugar consumption, particularly among students. These efforts include promoting healthier options. The Japanese government is actively promoting the consumption of water and other sugar-free drinks. This initiative aims to reduce the intake of sugary beverages, which are a significant source of excess sugar in diets. Sugar tax implementation. A sugar tax on sugary beverages has been introduced as part of the government's strategy to discourage the consumption of drinks with high sugar content. This is the video ending. Add your channel ID and use it as a video watermark.
Incorporating AI into the curriculum design not only modernizes the education experience, but also prepares students for a future where AI plays a significant role across various sectors. Here are strategies for integrating AI into curriculum designs effectively. Incorporating AI into the curriculum design not only modernizes the education experience, but also prepares students for a future where AI plays a significant role across various sectors. Here are some strategies for integrating AI into the curriculum design effectively. We're going to start with the basics of AI. Foundational knowledge. So we're going to introduce basic concepts such as the history of AI to provide a solid foundation. This can include how AI systems learn, make decisions, and the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning. We're also going to include some critical thinking into our development. This will be by encouraging student discussions about the implications of AI in society, in ethics, privacy, and potential biases within AI systems to develop critical thinking skills. Number 2, integrate AI tools in teaching practices. Interactive tools such as ChatGPT can be utilized for personalized learning experiences, automated grading, and creating an interactive content. Now, if we link that to project-based learning, now we can implement projects using AI tools for real-world applications such as data analysis projects, creating simple chatbots, or designing projects like the ones I modeled earlier, where you're using an AI tool to create something that's related to your content. Number 3 is professional development. We need to provide our teachers with training on AI tools and methodologies. Understanding how to use these tools effectively is key in integrating them into our school curriculum. We need to encourage collaboration between educators and AI experts, or organizations, partnerships with universities or tech companies that can provide valuable resources and insights on each of these tools. Number 4 is foster an AI inclusive environment. Diverse learning materials incorporate AI to contents cater to different learning styles and abilities. This could mean using AI to adapt reading materials to various lexile levels or creating and customizing educational games. In addition to that, accessibility. We can leverage AI to make learning more accessible for students with disabilities using tools that often voice recording, language translation, and personalized learning paths, such as the ones that I modeled on the students' project samples. Number 5, curriculum development with AI analysis. Feedback loops. We can use AI systems to analyze students' performance data to identify learning gaps and adjust the curriculum accordingly. This allows for a more responsive and personalized education. Companies like PowerSchool are already integrating these types of technologies into their software to help students bridge their learning gap and adjusting the curriculum according to their needs. Number 6, promote ethical AI use. Ethical frameworks. We need to teach students about the ethical use of AI, including considerations around data privacy, consent, and the impacts of AI technology in our society. We can do this by creating critical discussions. This way, we can facilitate discussions around current and potential future ethical dilemmas in AI to encourage thoughtful considerations of technological roles in our society. Number 7, evaluation and adaptation. Feedback mechanisms. As educators, we often have feedback mechanisms on what works and doesn't work with a given class in a specific or given school year. So we have to keep the same feedback mechanisms when it comes to analyzing the artificial intelligence that we're teaching about or utilizing. So regularly gather feedback from students and educators on effectiveness of AI tools and lessons to continuously improve the curriculum. Understand that the development and tools completely change month after month. So therefore, staying updated with the latest technology is a must. Okay, so now we're going to discuss the AI tools for educators. So I gave you some examples of some tools that are out there that can be utilized with our students. I'm also going to dive into the AI implementation in your classroom for your students, but let's talk about AI tools for educators. I'm going to give you an overview of my 3 favorite ones and how you can implement these in examples in your classroom. And again, selecting the right tool for your educational goal depends on what your objectives for that specific class is. I'm going to show you in this folder, there's going to be a lesson plan where you can check off your objectives and whether you're utilizing artificial intelligence to teach your class or you're going to be separating and using AI to create a project-based learning project. So we're going to discuss the 2, and I'm going to show you my 3 favorite ultimate AI websites out there that are just incredible for usage. So let's get started with that. You scan the QR code, it's going to take you to the following page. Here you can find administrative tools, tutoring tools, adaptive learning tools, all AI related. This is a page where anyone can add any AI tools that they find. Just click on the little plus sign and submit the URL of the following app. So we're going to take a look at some of my favorites that are located in this page. In no particular order, but definitely a must try. So we're going to start with Tweet, and I'm going to go ahead and click on login, and I'm going to use Google, and I am going to log in with this particular account. So for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and submit. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Where did you hear from us? I'm going to say FETC. Start using Tweet. Okay. So here where I have my tools and my projects, it stores some of the projects that I had originally put together, right? So the way that you do this is as follows. You're going to create a project, right? And let's go over the tools first. Why I love this specific website, this AI website, is because even if I'm not a language arts teacher, I know that I said if you're a language arts teacher, go ahead and select, right? Even if I'm not a language arts teacher, if I want to give my students a movie on social studies, on science, anything that I find on YouTube, I can easily come through here and it can generate quizzes based on that specific link that I give it. So it gives you all these different tools for language arts, but my ultimate favorite one from here has to be the one where I can create multiple choice tests through a YouTube link. So let me show you really quick how this works. So I am going to select, you have a couple of ones. You have summary, audio and video question creator, which is the one that we're going to take a look at. So I'm going to select this particular one. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to pause so I can find a link for you, and I'm going to do it a video science space so you can see just how incredible this is. Okay, so here I am on YouTube, and since we just had the solar eclipse, I'm going to select this video.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your very own monster.
Okay, so I went ahead and I copied that specific link. I'm going to post it here, and automatically it's going to put my video. And now, what kind of questions do I want at what portion of the quiz? Now, if you love to use tools such as Nearpod, this is great because I know Nearpod, you can create tests like at certain parts of a video just to keep your students involved, or like quizzes about it. Here's where you can kind of like frame where you want to get your questions from, and then if you jump to Nearpod and use the same questions, you know where to stick those questions and like what time frame you want to do that. So I am going to add multiple choice questions, and then it gives you, do I want simple questions or intermediate? Since I'm going to use this with 4th grade, I'm going to hit intermediate, and then I'm going to say do magic. So let's give it a second. Okay, so here are my multiple choice questions, and right now there's going to be 7, and here are their answers. I can always change them around or create additional questions for that video if I wanted to, but this is really neat to utilize. So if you want to create an interactive assignment for your students, or even develop questions from videos that are out there, instead of looking for those questions, you can generate them directly from your YouTube video. My disclaimer is, on everything that you use that's AI generated, as a teacher, you're always going to view your video and always cross-reference your multiple choice questions to ensure that your students are indeed getting the right questions asked and given the right correct options as possible answers. Okay, so let's jump to my next favorite AI tool out there that I absolutely love, but hopefully you like Tweet as much as I like it. So my next go-to absolutely love websites out there is this one, DFIT. And if you don't have ChatGPT and you don't have a way of using AI that you're paying for, this particular one is incredible for teachers, and it's not very expensive at all, and it has a lot of free components that you can utilize right away. So I'm going to click on start here, and I'm already logged into my teacher account, so I'm going to scoosh it over so you can see that's my little teacher account, right? So I have the free trial, but nevertheless there's still other items that you can utilize. So here is an article or video, right? So you saw the same video that we looked at. I'm going to come here and I could say I want to use that video and create resources for a 3rd grade classroom. And the great part is that you can change the language, but I'm going to generate, and in seconds you're going to see the resources that could be created based off this particular video that we just saw. So let's give it a couple of seconds to work its little magic, and here we go. So right now I have a reading passage that talks about the solar eclipse, right? And this is all taken from the video that we just saw. So you can have some adapted reading for your students. Pardon my little puppy, right? So also here's a summary of the video, some key vocabulary so you can put on the board so that your students can start understanding, like, you know, some of the different things, different vocabularies that are out there. And here are some additional multiple choice questions. You have short answers, open-ended prompts, But here is the coolest thing ever. If I click on Get Activities, I can easily open up activities that I can utilize based on this video. Again, you can use videos and you can also use websites and you can use articles. You can even copy and paste items from your textbook and put them here to generate content. So here is reading with discussions. If I want to do, let's see, I think there's a web one over here that I like to use because I love doing mind maps. So this is cause and effect, right? And it's based on 3rd through 12. When I click on Get Activity, it automatically will start giving me the option of how do I want to get this activity. So I can do it a couple ways. I can put it in my Google Drive or I can push it through Google Classroom. We're waiting a couple seconds while it works its beautiful magic. But see right here, I can download this as a PDF. I can download it as a PowerPoint. I can share it in my Google Classrooms right now so you guys can see it right away. I'm going to go ahead and open up in Slides. And let's see if it opens it up nice and quickly. Okay, so here are the slides with the picture of the video that we just saw, right? It has imagine analysis. Here are the vocabulary words so that the students can, use it in a sentence or replace it or draw an image of it. And here is my cause and effect. What caused the eclipse? What are some of the effects of the eclipse? Does it have a gravitational pull? So these are so many things that you can actually work with your students. And again, it generates a Google slide, a Google Doc already that you can push out to your students. So moving right along, and I know there's so many neat websites out there. I can spend hours on all the amazing tools out there, but these are like my top that I would definitely work with right away because just the possibilities are incredible. All right, so I'm going to hit. Okay, so I'm going to click on Question Well, and we are going to try it out. So I'm going to go ahead and click Try It Out, and I'm going to do my teacher login. I'm going to sign in with Google, and I am going to select my personal email. Okay, so the reason I selected my personal email is because I already have some items that are saved here. But you see where it says Save Sets? I'm just going to go to my Save Sets, and I'm going to open up the one on atoms for 7th grade science lesson. Now, this particular website does absolutely the same thing as the other ones do. In other words, it creates questions, multiple choice. But why I love about this particular website is the following. I'm going to show you really quick. So you have your essential questions. So if you're doing backwards design, this is incredible because you have that component already on there, right? And let me go back to the rest of this. Hold on. Okay. So you have right here, you have your vocabulary, you have multiple choices, right? And right now it's not showing because my temporary account expired. So I apologize about that. So let me go ahead and click pause and then bring it right back so that you can actually see an example. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So I just created a different account just so I can show you guys. So here we have, I can create accounts based on, learning outcomes if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and check off this. And I am going to paste items on atoms because I want my lesson to be on atoms. Now it tells me that I can use the following. I can use text, a YouTube video, I can use a website, I can even use a file or document that I have, or I can even select my own quiz, right? So I'm going to click on Generate Questions, and automatically my little AI is working away, or the little AI is working on creating questions for you. So why I love this is because you can take your content that you've created from your book, right? So backwards design, like I was saying, you have right here your essential questions that are given to you, right? And they pop up here, your questions that it developed regarding the items that I pasted or the content that I pasted from my book, right? It automatically allows you to do vocabulary, different types of questions, right? So what I love about this pretty much is that I can come here and I can export this, and this is what makes this so incredible, right? So I can export this to a Quizlet, to a Kahoot, to Canva, to Schoology. I mean, you guys are looking at the list right here: Quizlets, Google Forms, Blackboard. So you can develop assessment or alternative methods of seeing whether your students understand the concepts in seconds. So it doesn't matter what items you have there, it will generate it for you. Now, remember when we talked about DFIT? DFIT allows you also to use that same content and lower it for different reading levels too. So you could do that with the other website as well. But this is what I love about this, because if I want to do a quick Google slide test that I can have my students work on, I can go ahead and export it to Google Slides, and it will automatically move it to Google Slides super, super quick, right? So why I love this, these resources are just incredible. Okay, so a lot of you are probably saying, well, you know what? I already have AI out there, or I don't have the money for AI or to spend on some of these items out there. So, which I completely understand. So if you're already invested on ChatGPT 4, which is a paid subscription, I'm going to show you a little trick. So there's this website, it's called I Teach AI, right? And if you don't have ChatGPT, you can log into the website, create an account, and for half the cost, you have the same components. But if you already have ChatGPT 4 and you're a teacher, it has these tools right here. And what these tools are, they're called GPTs, right? So let's say that I am a classroom teacher and I want to design my own lesson plan, right? So I can come here and I can do a lesson plan creator, and automatically when I click on it, it takes me to ChatGPT, and at the same time, it has access to all these GPTs. So let's say that I want to, and I'm going to use some of the examples that are here just so you can see how it works, but you can pretty much say a lesson. You know what? Let's do that. Okay, since we want to be able to teach about AI to our students, not just use AI for our students to learn, we're going to go and jump here and talk about a lesson. So I need a lesson plan for 4th grade on AI ethics, right? And how am I going to teach this, and where is it going to go through? But I'm going to go ahead and generate it. So right now is creating a specific lesson plan for this particular lesson. Now you're probably thinking, well, I have ChatGPT already. Why would I want to use this particular GPT? Well, so we're going to talk about hands-on AI project for students, and exactly what can we utilize to create these types of projects. If you are going to use some of the tools that are listed in some of these different websites that are out there, always keep in mind that when you're doing AI projects, make sure that you're encouraging learning and creativity. Don't just do a project for the sake of creating a project. Now, guidance and facilitation on all AI projects is always needed. And I always tell my teachers, always do the project yourself so you know exactly how long this particular project is going to entail. It doesn't matter if it's a bot that they're programming or a website they're building. You always need to do the project yourself. If it took you an hour, estimate 4 for your students, because they work a little slower and you have the changing of classes and time limitation because of the schedule, right? And always use examples of successful students' projects and their impacts on learning outcomes. So show what are some of the benefits of creating your own application and how this app's going to make the world a better place and why this app would be successful, and showcase their work, because at the end of the day, they are always going to be proud of the achievements they do. And with technology, this becomes so relevant to the life they live, especially whether it's a website, a game that they're designing, or even something as simple as a basic app. Okay, so let's continue, and we're going to focus now on some of the different curriculum that's out there for AI that you can look up and use already to start teaching your students about artificial intelligence. We're going to start with Google Labs. Google Labs has a ton of free AIs that your students can play with. However, Notebook is definitely a game changer for language arts, and let me explain to you how it works. So from Google Labs, you're going to scroll, here's Google Labs, you're going to scroll to the bottom, and it's right here. It's called Notebook LM, and you're going to select Try It. Now, once you get to this particular, you're going to try the notebook, and this is what your main menu looks like. I already have some work that I have on there, but to add a new notebook, you simply click on the plus sign. So I'm going to title my project. So you come here and you title your project. The great thing about this is that you can go back and work on your project and jump from project to project. Okay, so here is my default notebook that I just selected, and I can add notes and I can add sources. So I can add sources from my drive, a PDF, a text file, or I can even copy and text file, text from somewhere or a website and put it on there and break it down. So for the search of my particular topic, I found PDFs that were out there, and they could be excerpts from books or even PDFs findings from different studies that are out there. So in this particular one, I am going to be focusing on AI, and I'm going to select 3 articles that I've already pre-planned on artificial intelligence. So why this product is so incredible is because it allows you to have as many sources as you need to, but it also helps you break down all the sources. You can even ask all the sources questions based on the information that's on that particular article. So if I'm a student and I need to have 15 sources to break down a specific writing assignment, this is such a neat place to keep everything, to ask it questions, and to even add your citations. And I'm going to show you how to find those particular citations. Okay, so I have my 3 sources. I'm going to select the first one, right? And see how it reads source number 1. I am actually going to click on to my source, right? And within seconds, it narrows down what my source that I've selected is about. So it gives me a summary and it gives me key topics. Now, over there on the start typing section that you see at the bottom, you can ask it questions, but then it gives you helpful topics about the main idea of this particular source, right? So I am going to select one of the things that I want to learn about the specific source, and within seconds it gives you, so I'm going to select machine learning. So within seconds it gives you not only what machine learning is according to my actual article, but it gives me 10 different citations within that article of where that exact information is coming from. Now, before you say, oh my gosh, this is great, right? Notice the little response at the bottom. It may still sometimes have inaccurate responses, so you may want to confirm the facts. So obviously you want to confirm all this if you are going to be utilizing for a school project. But if you notice here, it gives me, all the information that I wanted along with the sources. So if I wanted to cite this particular one, I could. Now, I can pin this particular article to my dashboard, and you're going to see that in a second. And once you pin it, you're able to go back to it and read up on it. Okay, so see the little pin? That's the one that you select, and that pin is the one that holds it onto that size. So I'm going to go to my other article, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other 3 articles. Okay, I went ahead and I added notes. The green ones are my personal notes. The purple ones are the ones that the computer generated for me based on the question that I asked. Okay, so 2 cool things from the software. The create the outline is a good one, and the create the study guide is also an excellent source. Now let's take a look at the create the outline. I selected the sources that I want this outline to come from, and automatically it gave me that particular outline. And notice how it went, it's a pretty detailed outline based on the sources that I selected. Now, as a teacher, you might want your students to only have a paper that focuses on three main ideas. But with that being said, you have plenty of options from what it broke them down. And then if you teach them how to properly cite, how to properly create those main ideas to start those paragraphs, this is definitely incredible. So the next feature that I'm going to do, and I'm selecting, is to create the study guide, right? So what I loved about this particular creating a study guide is not necessarily to create a study guide for me so I can study, but as a writer, I often forget that a lot of people do not know about the terminology that I utilize for when I'm talking about technology. So in essence, this gave me a list of glossary terms that I can use to define the items if I am publishing a research on a specific thing. And also, it talks about the central questions of this particular review, right? So if you want your students to focus on specific questions, this gives them the different questions that they can kind of tackle within their writing. Again, this is a great resource. In the past, we would have to print all this information, highlight it, retype it, and carry our notebooks around from place to place. And even with technology, if you're able to dump it into a virtual file, they just lived on that file without being able to just properly take notes from it. This way, your students can actually interact with other notes. Again, this is such a neat project not many people know about, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you like my video, give me a thumbs up. And thank you. Another one of my favorite AIs out there that you can use with your students is Pictory.ai. And this is an example of this. So you pretty much create a project by putting in your paragraph or your story, and automatically the AI reads through the main words of your story and generates live video backgrounds, and it also showcases whatever points you're trying to make. So this is kind of like taking students creating PowerPoints to a whole different level, because now you're giving it that personification and they're not wasting time looking for images, and the images are all free from this particular website. So Pictory.ai is another way that you can have student made projects, or you can even utilize it like myself to get a point across. Okay, so code.org is a software that I've been using since it pretty much came out. I've used it with my computer science in elementary school, and I've used it with computer science in high school, because it pretty much has everything and anything that you would need when it comes to curriculum from a student's perspective and from a teacher's perspective. So right now there's a couple lessons on AI that you can start with. There's this one, AI and machine learning, which is 6th through 12th grade. And the duration, it tells you it's about a quarter to get through the whole entire project. And this one's more for the littles, and this one is AI for Oceans, that is grades 3 to 12. So I can simply come here and select my classroom, confirm assignment, and automatically it would show up on my Google Classroom, because that's the way that I have it set up. And you can do all that setup through code.org. When you set up your account, you can sync it with your Google Classroom, which is perfect. So Quick View, I'm going to show you what Quick View does. So Quick View takes you to the curriculum. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to show you the curriculum. So it takes you through what each lesson entails, right? The first one is a video, train an AI to clean the ocean. So you're going to watch the video that has the directions. Your students are going to do that. And then after they're done, right, you can download the video if you want to do that. And after they're done, you can have them start the activity. So let's go back so we can see what that looks like. So I made my screen a little shorter just because on this side of my screen I have the teacher panel with my students' names, because I can click on each student and it will tell me exactly where they're at, and I can look at their screen to see where they made a mistake, or I can click on the teacher view or the student view. So for the student view, it looks like this, right? And I can click on the video, or I can click on the specific lesson. Teacher view, I have what it entails, and then over here you can't see it because I have it blocked off. It's each individual student, and I can click on that specific student that's showing there, and automatically it will tell me where they're at. So I'm going to go to the student view, and I'm going to select the lesson, right? And again, it's very simple to do. Here are the directions. Okay, so here, click anywhere on the screen to begin, right? So you tell it fish or no fish, right? So you're pretty much training the AI on whether it's fish or no fish, and you go through the lessons on training the AI. So here we go, fish, fish, not fish, fish, not fish. And it gives you the lesson. So this is a simple way of introducing artificial intelligence to your students. I think that code.org does it incredibly, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be many, many more incredible lessons like these that your students can learn about the different aspects of artificial intelligence. So thank you so much for joining me to look at different things that you can do for artificial intelligence. Before we wrap up this lesson, I'm going to take you to a section where you can train the people at your school. Not only that, you can also get some resources to help you get started with certain guidelines that are out there for schools that you can follow. And if you have any other questions that I can help you with, my goal is to write curriculum for AI. So anything that you need, please don't forget to send me an email and I will gladly assist you. Okay, so the following website is called Teach AI, and I by no means am I affiliated with this particular website, but I wanted you to take a look at some of the tools that are here. So you have guidance tools, and it goes through, let me get to the ones that I wanted to show you. Okay. You have a resource section that has everything, every single resource that you can utilize, like, sample letters to the parents, sample letters to your staff, sample class policies. So if you want to start teaching AI in your classroom or in your school, these are different places where you can grab all those different tools and kind of have a guidance as to what is it that you're going to use and modify them to your needs, obviously. So we're going to come here and do access all items, right? And I'm going to lower it down so you could see it. So we have the different frameworks, principles of using AI, guidance for schools, existing policies, and these are 46 pages of everything that you are going to need to get started in your school. And if you are a teacher and you want to start teaching this in your classroom, it has everything that you can go to your principal and say, hey, this is what I want to put in place. This is what I want to send out, and get all your items approved. So hopefully this was helpful and you learned a couple. And thank you so much for your time, and have an amazing weekend.